Chosen one, stop. Do not move past this video. God ordained this exact moment because he needs to talk to you about what happened in your room when the lights went out. He saw it. He saw the moment you broke down. He saw the anger you wanted to release. He saw the message you almost sent, the bridge you almost burned, and the towel you almost threw in. You thought that moment was a moment of weakness. You thought you failed him because you struggled. But here is the truth that will shock you. God didn't expect this. He didn't expect that under that much pressure you would still choose to stay. He didn't expect that with that much pain you would still choose silence over revenge. The enemy told God you would fold. You didn't. Right now, I want you to mentally lock that secret victory in your mind. Don't look at your sin. Look at your survival. Because that specific act of endurance, when no one was watching, just qualified you for a public reward that everyone will see. I need to speak to the version of you that is hiding right now. The version of you that sits in your car in the parking lot, engine off, hands gripping the steering wheel until your knuckles turn white, just staring at nothing. You do this because you need 5 minutes to put the mask back on before you walk into your house or your job. You feel like a fraud. There is a voice in your head, whispering so loudly that it drowns out your prayers. It says, "Look at you. You are supposed to be a chosen one. You are supposed to be strong. But look at this mess. Look at these dark thoughts you are having." If people knew what was really going on inside your head, they wouldn't call you chosen. They would call you crazy. You feel the weight of that secret pressing on your chest, making it hard to breathe. You think God is looking at you with disappointment. You think he is checking a list of all the times you almost gave up. But listen to me closely. Before I reveal why heaven is actually stunned by your resilience, you need to understand where this is going. This video is not just a message, it is a heavenly briefing. By the end of this broadcast, I am going to reveal the divine wager that is happening over your life right now. I am going to hand you the 7 forms of silent sabotage that the enemy is using to target you when you are alone, and we are going to seal your rank with a specific activation prayer. Do not leave early. Your breakthrough depends on you receiving the full strategy. If you are ready to turn your secret pain into public power, simply comment the word "ready" to signal that you are locked in. Now, let's shatter the lie you have been believing. You think God is angry about your struggle. You think he saw you crying on the floor at 3 a.m. and thought you had little faith. You are wrong. God was not looking at your tears, he was looking at your presence. Think about it. With the amount of hell that has been thrown at you in the last season, logic says you should not be here. Logic says you should have turned to addiction to numb the pain. Logic says you should have become bitter and hateful like the people who hurt you. Logic says you should have taken your own life or walked away from your destiny. But look at you. You are hurt, yes. You are tired, yes. You are limping, yes. But you are still standing. You are still seeking. You are watching this video right now. That is what God didn't expect. In the courts of heaven, your survival is the miracle. He is not judging you for the mud on your clothes. He is applauding you for walking through the swamp and not letting it drown you. You are judging yourself for stumbling, but God is celebrating you for not staying down. There is a powerful truth hidden in Scripture that explains exactly what is happening to you. You have heard 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 8 and 9. It says, "We are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not in despair." You have heard it 1,000 times. But the English translation hides the violence and the beauty of what Paul was actually saying. The Greek word Paul used for troubled is phlibo. This word does not just mean having a bad day. Phlibo is the specific word used for pressing grapes to make wine. Picture a wine press. The grapes are crushed. They are squeezed under immense That was not cowardice, chosen one. That was the integrity test. And to understand why this matters so much to your future, we need to look at a man who passed this exact test in a literal cave. You know the story of David and Saul, but you have likely missed the most critical detail. We often quote 1 Samuel 24, where David cuts off the corner of Saul's robe, but we forget the context of the pressure. David was not alone in that cave. He was surrounded by his men. These were his loyal soldiers, his inner circle. And when King Saul walked into that cave alone to relieve himself, vulnerable and unaware, David's men didn't just stand there. They pressured him. They whispered to him, "Look, this is the day the Lord spoke of. He has delivered your enemy into your hand." Think about that pressure. It wasn't just David's own desire for revenge. It was his friends using spiritual language to justify a murder. They quoted prophecy to encourage him to sin. They said, "God gave you this chance, take it." It would have been so easy to listen to them. It would have been so easy to kill Saul, walk out of that cave, and be crowned king immediately. The suffering would end. The running would end. But David knew something they didn't. He knew that how you get the crown determines how long you keep the crown. If he took the throne by killing Saul, he would just be another Saul. So he restrained his power. He cut the robe, but he spared the man. He proved that he trusted God's timing more than his own sword. When you deleted that message, when you kept your mouth shut, when you refused to destroy the person who was destroying you, you were standing in the cave with David. You proved to God that you can be trusted with power because you are not controlled by your emotions. But I know what you are thinking. You are thinking, "That sounds noble, but it hurts. It feels like burning from the inside out. How do I keep doing this without losing my mind? How do I restrain myself without exploding?" I am going to give you a framework right now called the Cave Protocol. This is how you process the poison so it doesn't kill you. You do not need to move. You do not need to write anything down. We are going to do this right now in your spirit. The first step is the sovereign pause. Next time you are triggered, next time you are accused, I want you to visualize a heavy iron gate slamming shut between you and the world. In your mind's eye, see that gate lock. For the next 5 minutes, you are safe behind it. You do not respond. You do not explain. You do not defend. You stay behind the gate. This pause reminds your flesh that you are not a slave to reaction. You are a master of response. The second step is the vertical vent. Most people vent horizontally. They tell their friends, they post on social media. That leaks your power. I want you to visualize yourself taking all that anger, all that evidence, all those words you want to scream, and putting them into a box. Now, in your imagination, lift that box up towards heaven. Hand it over. Tell God, "I am angry. I am hurt. I want revenge. But I am giving this box to you. You are the judge, not me." The third step is the king's release. This is the hardest part. In your mind, visualize the person who hurt you standing in front of you. See their face. Now, I want you to imagine cutting the invisible rope that ties you to them. As you cut it, say in your spirit, "I release you to God, not because you are innocent, but because I refuse to be your prisoner." When you do this, you stop the leak. You stop the enemy from stealing your peace through offense. You have controlled your external actions. You have passed the test of silence. But we have a problem. You have silenced the enemy outside, but there is still a voice screaming on the inside. There is a voice in your own head that tells you that you are a fake. It tells you that even though you acted right, you felt wrong, and therefore you are disqualified. We need to confront that imposter voice right now, because it is the only thing left standing between you and the revelation of the divine wager. You have silenced the enemy outside, but there is still a voice screaming on the inside. There is a voice sounds exactly like you. He strips off his mask and screams, "For I do not do the good I want to do, but the evil I do not want to do, this I keep on doing. O wretched man that I am, who will deliver me from this body of death?" Listen to the raw pain in his voice. He calls himself wretched. In the Greek, this word implies someone who is exhausted from hard labor. He is tired of the war inside his own members. Paul is admitting that he has a shadow. He is admitting that he has an imposter voice. But here is the key. God did not fire Paul because of his struggle. God did not say, "Paul, you are too conflicted, I need someone perfect." No. God used Paul's struggle to keep him humble and dependent on grace. The thorn in the flesh was not a disqualification. It was a tether that kept him close to the source of power. Your internal war is not a sign that you are losing. It is a sign that you are a threat. The enemy does not waste ammunition on empty targets. If he is attacking your mind with guilt and shame, it is because he is terrified of the potential inside of you. He wants you to identify with your wound so that you forget your weapon. Let me tell you about a chosen one I know. Let's call him David. David was a worship leader. He had an anointing that could break yokes. When he sang, people wept. The atmosphere shifted. But David had a secret. For 3 years, he battled a severe addiction to pornography. Every Saturday night was a war. Sometimes he won, sometimes he lost. And on the Sunday mornings after he lost, the shame was so heavy he could barely breathe. I remember him telling me about one specific Sunday. He was in the church bathroom, staring at himself in the mirror. He was splashing cold water on his face, trying to wash away the guilt. His hands were trembling. He looked at his own eyes in the glass and said, "You are a liar. You are going to go out there and sing about freedom when you are in chains. You should quit. You should leave right now and never come back." He almost did. He almost walked out the back door. But then he heard a still, small voice. It wasn't the voice of accusation. It was the voice of the Father. And the Father said, "David, I didn't call you because you are perfect. I called you because you are broken enough to let my light shine through the cracks. Your song has power not because you are innocent, but because you are desperate." David wiped his face. He walked out onto that stage. And that day, he didn't sing from his talent. He sang from his wound. He sang from his desperate need for God. And that day, more people were set free than ever before. Why? Because he stopped trying to be a statue of perfection and allowed himself to be a vessel of mercy. He realized that he wasn't a hypocrite. He was a wounded healer. You are not a hypocrite, chosen one. You are a soldier who is bleeding but still swinging the sword. And that is exactly what makes you dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. I want to give you a way to silence this imposter voice right now. We are going to do a mental action. I want you to visualize a beautiful ceramic vase. It is gold and white, standing in the center of a room. This vase represents your calling. Now, look closer. You see cracks running all through it, jagged lines where it has been broken and put back together. The imposter voice tells you to hide the cracks, to paint over them so you look perfect. But I want you to imagine the Holy Spirit pouring a liquid light into that vase. See the light filling it up. And now, watch what happens. The light doesn't just come out of the top. The light bursts through the cracks. The beams of glory are shining brightest through the broken places. Without the cracks, the light would be contained. Because of the cracks, the light illuminates the entire room. In your mind, touch those cracks. Do not hide them. Claim them. Say to yourself in your spirit, "These are not my failures. These are my windows." This is where God's grace shines the brightest. If you are receiving this healing, if you are letting go of the shame of being human, I want you to declare it in the comments. Write this simple phrase: "I am a warrior," not "I am perfect." divine wager on him. The enemy said, "The only reason Job loves you is because you bribed him. You put a hedge of protection around him. You gave him money, you gave him status, but if you take all that away, if you let me touch his life, he will curse you to your face." And God said, "You are on." This is exactly what has happened to you. At some point in the spiritual realm, the enemy looked at your life and made an accusation. He said, "The only reason they follow you is because life is easy. But look at their bloodline, look at their trauma, look at their weakness. If I apply enough pressure, if I break their heart, if I drain their bank account, they will fold, they will return to the world, they will curse you." And God looked at you. He saw something in your spirit that the enemy could not see. He saw a resilience that had not yet been tested. And he said, "Go ahead. You can touch their circumstances, but you cannot touch their soul. I bet on them." This explains the silence. You have been asking, "God, why didn't you stop this? Why did you let me cry myself to sleep? Why didn't you step in when they lied about me?" Here is the answer. In a wager, the one who places the bet cannot interfere with the game while it is being played. If God had stepped in and fixed everything instantly, the enemy would have said, "See, you had to save them. They couldn't stand on their own." God remained silent, not because he was absent, but because he was confident. He had to let the test run its course. He had to let you walk through the valley of the shadow of death without holding your hand visibly, because he needed you to prove the enemy wrong. He needed you to generate a worship that was not based on blessings, but based on who he is. And this brings us to the phrase that drew you to this video. God didn't expect this. Now, you might ask, isn't God all-knowing? Does he not know the end from the beginning? Yes, he is omniscient, but he is also a father. And just like a father watching his child take their first steps, there is a difference between knowing they can walk and watching them actually do it against the odds. In the eyes of the enemy, and honestly, in the eyes of the world, you were the underdog. The odds were stacked against you. Based on your history, based on your trauma, based on the lack of support you had, the statistical probability of you staying faithful was 0. You should have broken. You should have become addicted. You should have become bitter. The enemy expected you to fail. The world expected you to fail. Even you, in your darkest moments, expected to fail, but you didn't. God didn't expect the level of glory you produced because it defied the laws of human nature. He saw you sitting in that dark room we talked about in part 1. He saw you holding the phone we talked about in part 2. And when you chose integrity over revenge, when you chose faith over fear, you caused a reaction in heaven. You made God turn to the enemy and say, "I told you. I told you they were different. I told you they were chosen." I want you to close your eyes for just a second, or if you cannot, just shift your focus inward. Imagine a courtroom. The enemy is the prosecutor, holding a file of all your pain. He is waiting for you to curse God. He is waiting for you to quit. And then imagine God, the judge, looking at you with a smile that lights up the universe. He is not looking at your perfection. He is looking at your persistence. Feel the pride radiating from him. He bet on you, and you helped him win. That is why he was watching you so closely. That is why the angels were recording every tear. You were not suffering in vain. You were settling a cosmic dispute. You have cleared your name in the courts of heaven. The accusation that you only love God for his blessings has been proven false. You loved him in the dark. You loved him in the drought. You loved him when it hurt. And because you have won this wager, the legal right the enemy had to torment you has been broken. He lost the bet. He has to back off. The season of intense, overwhelming frontal assault is coming to an end because it didn't work. The fire didn't You look at your life and all you see is what is missing. It is a sudden onset of body dysmorphia or spiritual dysmorphia. The enemy is trying to disconnect you from your new identity. He wants you to see a grasshopper when God has just made you a giant slayer. If you have felt a sudden wave of self-hatred for no logical reason this week, that is not your thought. That is a broadcast you are picking up. The third form is the brain fog. You sit down to pray, but you can't focus. You try to read the Bible, but the words swim on the page. You try to work on your business or your ministry, but you feel like you are moving through wet cement. You have motivation, but you have no momentum. It feels like your head is stuffed with cotton. This is a specific attack on your clarity. The enemy knows that if you have clarity, you are dangerous. So he sends a spirit of heaviness to dull your edge. He wants you to think you are burning out, so that you will stop moving right before the breakthrough manifests. The fourth form is the isolation trap. This is subtle. You suddenly feel an overwhelming urge to withdraw from everyone. Not the holy withdrawal of the cave protocol we discussed earlier, but a bitter withdrawal. You feel like nobody understands you. You feel like your friends are annoying you. You interpret innocent text messages as attacks. You start building walls instead of bridges. The enemy wants to cut you off from your supply lines. He knows that a soldier alone is easier to take out than a soldier in a platoon. If you are feeling a sudden, irrational irritation with the people who love you, pay attention. That is sabotage. The fifth form is the financial leak. You pass the test, you are expecting a reward, and suddenly, the car breaks down. The washing machine floods. You get a random bill you didn't expect. It is just enough money to be annoying, just enough to make you stress. Why does this happen? The enemy is trying to steal your seed. He wants you to panic and tighten your grip on your resources, right when God is asking you to be open-handed. He is trying to create a poverty mindset in a season of abundance. The sixth form is the past echo. This is when a person, a habit, or a craving from your past that you thought was dead suddenly reappears. An ex texts you out of the blue. A craving for a cigarette or a drink hits you hard after years of sobriety. An old fear resurfaces. It feels like you are going backward. You think, I thought I dealt with this. I must not be delivered. That is the lie. The enemy is projecting a hologram of your past onto your future to see if you will flinch. It is an echo, not a reality. The seventh form is the comparison spike. You scroll through social media and suddenly everyone seems to be doing better than you. Someone who is less qualified than you gets the promotion. Someone who compromised gets the contract. You feel a sharp pang of jealousy that makes you feel dirty. You ask, God, why them and not me? I paid the price. They didn't. This attack is designed to make you question the justice of God. If the enemy can get you to offend the judge, he can delay your verdict. Now that you see these forms, you realize that what you have been feeling is not you going crazy, it is you being hunted. Peter warned us about this in 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. He said, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour." The Greek word for devour here is katapino. It literally means to drink down or to drown. The enemy doesn't just want to bite you, he wants to swallow you whole in a sea of anxiety and confusion. He wants to drown out the voice of God. But you have a weapon. I am going to give you a specific strategy to counter these attacks, especially the first one, the midnight whisper. We are going to call this the 3 a.m. defense. Most people, when they wake up at 3 a.m. with anxiety, they fight it. They try to force themselves back to sleep. They count sheep. They scroll on their phones. This is a mistake. You are trying to sleep through a war. The next time you are jolted awake, I want you to reframe the Nothing is ever wasted. It is recorded. Every time you swallowed your pride, that was a deposit. Every time you forgave someone who wasn't sorry, that was a deposit. Every time you refused to cut corners when your bank account was empty, that was a massive deposit of gold into your spiritual account. You have not been losing, chosen one. You have been saving. You have been building up compound interest in a realm that is higher than Wall Street. And because God is a just judge, He cannot allow that account to sit there forever. There comes a moment called the due season, where the invisible ledger must be balanced openly. I want to tell you a story about a man I worked with. Let's call him Michael. Michael was a business owner who was walking through a severe valley. He had lost his biggest client. His debts were piling up. He was driving a car that broke down every week. He felt like God had abandoned him. One afternoon, he found himself in a situation that was a perfect trap. He was offered a contract that would have solved all his financial problems instantly. It was a lot of money, but there was a catch. He had to lie about his numbers. He had to compromise his integrity to get the deal. I want you to picture him. He was standing at an ATM in a gas station, staring at the screen that said insufficient funds. He was holding the contract in his other hand. It was raining outside. He had a choice: take the money and lose his soul, or keep his soul and lose the house. In that moment, with tears in his eyes, Michael tore up the contract. He threw it in the trash can next to the gas pump. He chose to trust God in the dark. For 3 months, nothing happened. Silence. It felt like he made a mistake. But Michael didn't know about the invisible ledger. He didn't know that his act of integrity had just shifted the atmosphere over his bloodline. Exactly 90 days later, Michael received a phone call from a company he had never pitched to. They had heard about his reputation for honesty. They didn't just offer him a contract. They offered to buy his entire company for a price that erased his debt and set his family up for life. When he asked them why they chose him, they said, "We were looking for someone we could trust." Michael thought he was burying his business at that gas station, but he was actually planting a seed that grew a forest. This is not just a nice story. This is a spiritual law. Jesus explained this mechanism in Matthew chapter 6 verse 4. He said, "That thine alms may be in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret himself shall reward thee openly." Notice the pattern. The seeing happens in secret, but the reward happens openly. God does not just want to bless you privately. He wants to vindicate you publicly. He wants to set a table for you in the presence of your enemies, just like Psalm 23 says. Why? Because your public blessing is the evidence of His power. When people see you rise from the ashes, they won't just look at you, they will look for your God. Your season of obscurity is over. The time of hiding is finished. You have filled the ledger. You have passed the integrity test. You have survived the silent sabotage. The deposits are there. The funds are available. I want you to visualize this right now. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine a massive book opening on a desk in heaven. It has your name on the cover. See the pages filled with golden writing. Those are your acts of obedience. Those are your tears. Those are your moments of restraint. Now, imagine a stamp coming down on the page. The stamp says, "Paid in full." Do you feel that shift in your spirit? That is the feeling of expectation returning to your heart. But here is the final problem. The funds are released, but you need a place to receive them. You cannot pour new wine into old wineskins. If God pours this level of blessing out on you right now, and you do not have the right structure to hold it, it will spill. You need to build a landing strip for the blessing. You need to construct what the ancients called an integrity altar. This is the final step. This is how you cash out the ledger without is going to try to get you to sabotage yourself. He is going to try to induce a spirit of fear, not the fear of failure, but the fear of success. You have been in the cave for so long that the light might hurt your eyes. You have been fighting for so long that you might not know how to live in peace. When the blessing comes, your instinct might be to push it away because you don't feel worthy. You might think, this is too good to be true. I must be dreaming. Something bad is about to happen. Do not listen to that voice. That is the ghost of your past trying to haunt your future. You are worthy, not because of what you did, but because of who you belong to. You passed the test. You kept the faith. The reward is legal. It is yours. Do not apologize for it. Do not shrink back from it. We have covered the diagnosis. We have revealed the wager. We have armed you with the frameworks. The instruction is complete. The truth has been laid bare. But information alone does not transform. Revelation alone does not activate. We need to move from the classroom to the courtroom. We need to seal this word in the spirit so that no devil in hell can steal it from you. The time for listening is over. The time for activation is now. I want you to shift your position. If you are lying down, sit up. If you are driving, grip the wheel with purpose. We are about to go before the judge to receive your verdict. The time for listening is over. The time for activation is now. I want you to shift your position. If you are lying down, sit up in your spirit. If you are driving, grip the wheel with the authority of a king. We are about to go before the judge to receive your verdict. I want you to visualize a mantle of fire descending upon your shoulders right now. Feel the weight of it. This is not a weight that crushes. It is a weight that crowns. You are no longer the accused standing in the dock. You are the victor standing on the podium. In the name of the Ancient of Days, the one who sees in secret and rewards openly, I call your spirit to attention. Father, we acknowledge the journey. You saw them in the dark room when they thought they were alone. You saw the tears they swallowed. You saw the message they deleted. You saw the integrity they kept when the enemy offered them a shortcut. The world did not see it, but you saw it. And today we agree with the verdict of heaven. I decree and declare that the divine wager is officially settled. The enemy bet against them, and he lost. The accuser said they would break, and they stood. Therefore, I silence every tongue that has risen against this chosen one in judgment. Every lie of the impostor voice is broken now. We evict the spirit of heavy-heartedness, and we release the oil of gladness. I seal the cave protocol over their mouth. They will possess the wisdom to pause, the strength to vent vertically, and the grace to release. They will not leak their power. I seal the 3 a.m. defense strategy over their mind. They will no longer be victims of the night. They are now watchmen on the wall. When the enemy whispers, they will war. I seal the integrity altar in the center of their heart. They are safe to trust with power. They are safe to trust with influence. They are safe to trust with wealth. And now I speak to the invisible ledger. I command the spiritual credits that have been accumulating to manifest in the physical realm. I speak to the north, the south, the east, and the west. Give up what belongs to this chosen one. I call forth the contracts. I call forth the connections. I call forth the restoration of years that the locusts have eaten. I declare that within the next season, the days of silent sabotage are replaced by days of public promotion. The God who didn't expect this level of glory from you is now preparing a table for you that no man can overturn. Chosen one, do you receive this commission? Do you accept the responsibility of the blessing? If you are ready to walk out of the shadows and into the light, open your mouth and say, yes. Say it with your spirit. Yes. It is done. It is sealed. It is irrevocable. You are dismissed from the wilderness. Walk in your reward. Don't say anything else. Just sit in this silence and let God speak.